In this video, I will show you how to color this lovely tile cafe using the new brush pack Urban Art Kit. All materials I will use in this video you will find in the pack that me and friends from Green Room Media made. I would call it a one-stop brush pack because it has everything, and link to them is in the description. First, we need to import the canvas into Procreate. For you it will be in the folder named Canvas, but it should look like this. Once imported, you open the layers and you will find 3 different ready-to-made paper canvas. There is a layer for your artwork, and now let's import the coloring page for this cafe. Go to import a file, find the folder coloring pages and tile cafe. This canvas is made so that you can resize it for your needs. For this artwork, I will crop it to 4000 by 5000 size, which is perfect to post on Instagram. You just type in the new size, click snapping, and push that new canvas to the middle once you see the yellow lines across. And done! Now it is cropped, and back to the textures. You can mix and match the paper textures how you want, change settings and all that. I like to use vintage and watercolor together, so I will just delete the grainy texture but keep those other two. And rename the outline layer as outline layer. And now you see the brushes we will be using. There are watercolor brushes, inkers, pencils, stamps, all kinds of good brushes. Here is the color palette I will be using. It will look good for this paper texture canvas and brushes. If you use other brushes, maybe the colors will look different. Screenshot them and use the color codes. For all the main coloring, I like to use watercolor brush called Wet Bandit. Test out the Puddle Police or Spritzman, as they are working the same, just made with a different texture, so see which one of them you like the best. But my favorite is Wet Bandit. All the coloring I am doing on layers underneath the outline layer, so for each color there will be a new layer. First I start with the dark purple color and I color in all the details I want in this color. You can follow this exact coloring or do whatever makes you smile. Pick out whatever color you want. I will stay with the same color, just make a new layer, and with selection tool freehand I will outline a big chunk of the wall which will not be covered in tiles, and then choose the biggest brush size and color it all in one go. And then color in few of the tiles, which will look like there are no tiles because it will be the wall color. Oh, I will also use erasing brush there in one place. And for erasing I am using just hard airbrush from the Procreate set that you can find under airbrush. But you probably already have a favorite eraser, so use that. Alright, new layer and new color. This time with the green color I will color in the greenery. In that cacti pot I will not color all of the plants, some I will do in different colors. And I like to work on a new layer for each color because then later it is easier to add stem texture or change something if needed. Then I am moving on to the red color. There isn't that much red in the drawing. I added some color for the letters and flower pots. Moving on to the brown color. So all kind of things I color with the brown color, and I like to color one section in one go because I don't like to smudge the texture, but in some places like in the window frame I will be having the color overlap, and then I will use the smudge tool, and from the brushes I will pick the smudge body and use that. Also for smudging you can try smudge fudge, it will be more creamy than the smudge body. With the light creamy color from the palette, I am coloring all kinds of things, and when I color over the letters in the sign, like order here with the red letters and coffee beans on those coffee bean sacks, I will just later erase those parts so this color don't cover the letters and the coffee beans. And now I am adding some yellow accents here and there in the drawing. On a new layer with this turquoise light blue color, I will color in the awning and also one of the chalkboards, like in front of the window. And then we will also use this color for the tiles, but I will make a new layer for the tiles. And so for the tiles I color in some random tiles, so like 3 together, maybe 2 together, only 1 in some places. Then on the same layer I will go with the light purple color and also color in some tiles randomly here and there. You can choose whatever pattern you want. Then I will also use the yellow and the orangey color. They look quite similar but not really. So yeah, color in all the tiles with these 4 colors in whatever pattern you want on one layer. I decided to change the color of the yellow flag to orange. I selected the flag, copied it to a new layer, just the flag, and used clipping mask. Then I will finish some details coloring with the light purple color. Now I want to add the ground using the stamp. I am using the first light gray color from the palette, and I chose this long watercolor stamp, and then using distort and warp I push it into place how I want. Then I will do the same for the top of the building, but on a new layer and different stamp. For each stamp I make a new layer because it is easier to move them around. And when the stamp is in place, I just select the section I want to keep and delete the rest. Then you can merge these two ground and top layers together. Now we are moving on to the inside. I will select everything that is inside the window and then color with the light beige color with the wet bandit brush. And don't click off the selection tool, just color in and then make a new layer and change it to multiply. And then darken the walls, add some color to the objects by using any color from the palette. I will add some green, orange and red, also purple for the shadows. I want this to be not like popping out because it is further away from our eyes as a viewer. So I want this warm tone with some color but not a lot. So like it's there but it's not as colorful as the tiles. If you want the accent to be on the window inside, then you make it as colorful as you want. I just show you one option that I like to use. For the plank floor, I will just pick the color from the window inside and use that. Or you can add any light brown color, but this picking the color from the drawing will look very cohesive, so I choose that. Then the flat color layer will be done and the magic will start to happen. I decided I will use just the vintage texture. I deleted the watercolor texture, but I wanted even more vintage feel, so I put the one with CB blend mode to 100 opacity, and then duplicated it, and then lowered the opacity for that to my liking. You can try changing things, whatever looks best for you. Then what I do next is I go over all the layers and see if they look better as they are, or I want them more saturated than opaque. So I duplicate and change opacity if needed. Some layers I didn't even duplicate, just left them as they are. Alright, the magic can start. So what I will do, for each layer I want to add some dimension and texture. I will use two things. One layer as multiply to darken, and one layer as normal to add some light accents. For the multiply layer, I use the same color as in that layer I want to darken. So light gray on light gray, green on green, and I stamp all kinds of stamps, add some splatter, and then I do this. Click on the flat color layer and choose select. Then at the bottom click invert. And then onto the stamp layer click clear. Then merge the layers together. Make a new layer as normal, and for this one I use clipping mask and add some white splatters and stamps. For the chalkboard wall, I will add some scribbles, which will look like a text, and then duplicate it for the white to be more opaque. For this you can also use the Lil Stream, which is a detail brush, or any of the pencil brushes. For the little chalkboards, I will add also some red and yellow color. So do this with all the layers, one multiply and one normal layer to add texture with stamps, or just by using any watercolor brush. I didn't add multiply layer for the tiles, I just added some splatters in purple and turquoise on a normal layer. So yeah, now you know all the techniques I use for this step. Almost forgot, for this step to be more better, you also need to think of where your light source is. So mine is on the right side. So everything on the right side will be lighter than on the left side. So I darken, like the left side of the flower pots will be darker. Also on the tree, those green parts on the tree on the left side will be darker. But if your light source is on the left side, then it will be the other way around. Like the flower pot's right side will be darker. Yeah, so keep this in mind also. When all that is done, I will add more accents. So for the lamp, make a new layer, change to add, and with the yellow color, draw like on the lamp and a bit around. And then by using Gaussian blur, blur that thing and play around with the layer's opacity to get it to look like how you want. I also want to add some accents for the tiles. On a few lines on multiply layer with the gray color, I will just darken those lines with the wet bandit brush. Now I want to add some splatters and streaky brush strokes to make this drawing even more interesting looking. I like to use the smudge fetch or streaky rascal, and I just pick colors from the palette and add some brush strokes here and there on a new layer. After that, go with two texture brushes, checker medium and halftone medium, also with the same colors, or add some white texture onto the tiles. And then for even more funky look, I go in with the pencil brush. I like to use the scratchy pencil for more rough brush strokes and creamy pencil for more creamier brush strokes, but they both are super good. And then just scribble all over the drawing again using the colors from the palette. Now I want to add the shadow. It will make this drawing come together even more. For that I make a new layer, change to multiply, and I like to use the hard airbrush that you can find in Procreate stock brushes. And then go over everything and add shadow. Remember where you put your light source and draw shadow according to that. Mine is on the right, so all the objects will make a shadow on their left side and more to the bottom because the sun is in the sky, shining from the top to bottom. So just look what I do and I hope you will get something from this. Oh, and I now use the dark purple color, but you can pick whatever darker color you like, or even later change the hue for this color. It is so easy to change colors in digital drawing, so don't stress about it. Because we added the shadow, we need to add some sunlight also. So I make a new layer, change to add mode and choose a light color. And with the wet bandit brush, I will add highlights to the right side of the objects. With the streaky rascal brush, I will add some sunlight in the windows and draw like diagonal strokes. And at the end, just add some splatters here and there, all over the drawing. So here you can see under the adjustments in hue, saturation, brightness section, I played around with the hue. Now I also wanted to change the outline color, make a clipping mask on top of it, and I chose the dark purple. Merge together and then I changed to multiply. We are almost at the end, so now in the overlay map you will find gorgeous watercolor textures. For now I choose the square overlay number 3 and put it all over the screen, then change the layer to overlay. Play around with opacity and then also the hue and brightness. This is what always makes my drawing so cohesive looking and adds a nice shine and texture. Then at the end, from the coffee stain section, I will add coffee stains. Also, you can add them how they are or change the brightness and the opacity. And I will also add some washi tape from the washi tape file map. The coffee stains and washi tape I changed to multiply layers, or you can use the linear burn too. And we are done. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you liked it, and if you bought the brushes, I am so grateful to you and can't wait to see your creations. So yeah, bye and see you in the next video.